So there are certain parts of video games that someone spent hours making, only for the majority of players to completely miss it. And in my opinion, that's really sad. That's why in today's video, I'm going to share 20 hidden details in video games that you might have missed. As with everything on this channel, I've recorded every single one of these details myself, which is becoming increasingly rarer these days. So if you could leave a like, it would make at least some of the time seem worth it. Oh, and if you want to ditch the sugar-filled energy drinks like I did, and instead drink a sugar-free, healthier alternative, and support the channel at the same time, scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description to be taken to Gamersupps. There's even an I Hate Anime section, which features stuff from friend of the channel Queso. Okay, so he's not a friend, but I feel like I know him after the amount of times he's appeared as an Easter egg in games, and even Laserbeam. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Now, Dead Island 2 is a game all about killing zombies, killing more zombies, and then for good measure, killing even more zombies. Of course, there is a story, but that almost comes second to the zombie slaying action. Well, this first detail is related to the story, and it's so subtle that a lot of players will have definitely missed it. This mansion is owned by Emma Jaunt, a famous actress and who, like most celebrities, is her own biggest fan. For proof of this, Emma has this very suggestive picture of herself hanging on the wall. Well, later on in the story, Emma leaves the mansion to her cleaner Andrea, and if we look where the picture of Emma used to be, it has been replaced with this painting instead. I mean, it makes sense. Andrea doesn't want to be looking at this all day, but the fact that someone on the dev team removed the painting is really cool. If you were wondering where the painting went, well, have you checked the bins? So the painting being replaced is already pretty cool, but to have the painting then placed with all the rubbish makes it that much cooler. Speaking of zombie slaying, up next is Left 4 Dead 2. Now, a big part of why people love Left 4 Dead 2 so much is the cast of survivors that you play as. Even the worst of the bunch, Nick, still has redeeming qualities. For proof of just how human these characters feel, there are moments during the game where they take a break from the worries of a zombie apocalypse and have some fun. During the final part of the Dark Carnival campaign, you can find a microphone, and if you speak into it, it will actually work.
Alright, thanks.
Well, if you use the mic when playing as Ellis or Coach, this will happen instead.
Every lady's crazy when her daddy's not around.
Gotta reach for the top, stay on the mountain. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
I mean, it's not really the time or place for a sing-song, but at least they're having fun. Now, in most games, you can kill hundreds, if not thousands of enemies, but whenever you meet a merchant looking to sell you their wares, they are unkillable. I mean, even if you didn't want to kill them and just help yourself to their stuff instead, you can't. Video game shopkeepers are some of the most protected characters in all of gaming. Well, there is at least one game where that rule doesn't apply. In Link's Awakening, you can try and steal from the very first shop you come across, but you'll be caught as you try to leave the store. However, with enough practice, and a large slice of luck, it can be done. So you get a little telling off when leaving the shop, but who cares? You just got yourself a free shovel. Here's the thing, if you go back to the shopkeeper will remember your past crimes. I mean, I'm not entirely sure death is the correct punishment for stealing a shovel, but hey, I don't make the rules. Now, given that you spend most of Fallout 4 trying to find your son, it's kind of easy to forget that your wife was shot right in front of you during the abduction.
I'm not giving you Sean!
I get that your son is important, but barely a thought is given to the Lone Wanderer's now dead wife. Well, if you go back to Vault 111, you can find your wife's body still in the cryo chamber. And if you bring a companion, they will acknowledge the sadness of the situation.
Is this Oh. I'm really sorry, General. Take all the time you need.
Oh dear, is that... Sir? Mum, I'm so sorry.
Like I said at the beginning of the video, a developer spent time scripting this and a voice actor recorded lines, for a scenario that a lot of players will never see. Now, before beginning a level in Ultrakill, you can customise your loadout to suit your needs. I mean, you can even ditch your fists if you want, which might seem important, but apparently not. Well, if you're fistless and try to punch, this will happen. So the game will acknowledge your stupid choices and remind you that you cannot throw a punch if you have no fists, which is pretty funny. So going up against Batman is never wise. I mean, the guy doesn't kill, but he sure enough breaks multiple bones. That's why sometimes certain goons will use technology to try and even the odds. One such gadget is the Detective Vision Detector, which, as the name suggests, detects when you're using detective vision. Usually you take these guys out first, but if you don't and instead stand behind someone using the Detective Vision Detector, this will happen.
Got a lock. He's right behind me. No, 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 no! Ah! This doesn't make any sense. It says he's right behind me? I've got a lock. He's right behind me. No, no, no!
So there are certain details in games that just tickle my brain. And that's exactly what this next detail does. In 3D platformer Clive and Wrench, you can find several source packets, and if you jump on one, it will do exactly what you think it would. Now, I know that when compared to some of the other details in this video, crushing source packets might seem unremarkable, but I like it. Now, Clone Drone in the Danger Zone is a game that tries to predict almost everything that you might try. Shoot at the commentators? There's a dialogue for that.
That tickled.
Commentatron, you did not tell me you had a somatosensory system installed.
Stand still after a round? There's a dialogue for that.
Perhaps the human thinks we will get bored.
It is mistaken. We have rich inner lives.
Yes, very rich.
Try to create an army of clones to take to the surface with you? Well, there's a lot of dialogue for that too.
Access denied.
You think you are a clever human?
Many humans have tried this trick.
What a cowardly human.
It tried to send its clone up to die.
Terrible. Boom.
That's right.
Access denied. This is why this arena is still in alpha.
Stop discovering edge cases. Human.
So you won't be surprised to learn that Astrobot has loads of cool idle animations, including one where the lovable bot decides to take a bath. Now, I know what you're thinking, and yes, you should subscribe, but you also might be thinking, is that it? Well, no. You see, if you play as the spongy Astro, you can soak up water, which will see Astro grow in size. Well, if you leave Astro idle again, he will pull out his bath again, but with different results. So Astro performs the same animation when big, but because he's now massive, he breaks the bath, which is really cool. Now, in most games, you will kill an enemy and move on. I mean, there's plenty more killing to be done. However, there are some games that remind you that the nameless henchmen you're slaughtering have lives too, and people that depend on them. In Alpha Protocol, you can scroll through your stats to check on things such as your most effective weapon or how many pistol shots you fired. It's pretty standard stuff. There's also a section called Orphans Created, and at the beginning of the game, you will have created 0 orphans. After killing an enemy, this number will update, showing how many children the person you just killed had. Don't get me wrong, it's not going to stop me pulling the trigger, but it is a pretty clever detail. Speaking of in-game enemies, most of them will shoot first and ask questions later, but sometimes they're a little more devious than that. During the Captive Freight chapter in Black Mesa Blue Shift, you'll run into an enemy checkpoint, and you'll probably handle it like you do everything else in the game, by introducing their bodies to a whole lot of lead. Well, if you approach the checkpoint all calm and non-psychopathic, this will happen instead.
Excuse me, sir. Ward? We got a dead scientist over here. One guy's lost his ID tag, so do you mind taking a look? See if you know him? Alright, guys. Number 3. Get him!
so the guards will actually try and lead you into a trap. Granted, it doesn't work, but I give them credit for trying. So nothing makes me happier than a game that rewards persistence. You know, when a game tells you something, if you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, eventually it will tell you something else. Well, you can find an example of that in Clair Obscur Expedition 33. But not only are you going to have to be persistent, you're going to have to be a bit creepy too. If you interact with this door, you can hear this.
Not everyone attends the Living Wake or goes to the harbour for the gommage. Some prefer more intimate goodbyes.
Now personally, if I heard those noises, I'd wish them luck and be on my way. But in video game land, that's not how things work. If you continue to bother the very busy couple, this will happen.
Come on, you've been listening for too long now. Made things more exciting at first, but now it's awkward. I'll give you this and you leave, okay? Just don't do it together.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure that rewarding someone for this kind of behaviour is the right thing to do, but once again, I don't make the rules. Now, if that wasn't creepy enough for you, this next detail might be. During the Pyramid Song quest in Cyberpunk 2077, you have to follow the lovely Judy on an underwater dive, and if you get distracted by the view, this will happen.
Circle around me, swim. Like the view, asshole?
Visual sensors are getting stinned right now. Can't be denied. To think I never realized how fit you were.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
Given that I'm playing as male V, this is unfortunately as close as I can get to romancing Judy in-game. So video game tutorials are meant to be really easy, so that you can get to grips with the game's mechanics. I mean, that's their entire point. Well, sometimes a tutorial might confuse some people, regardless of how easy it is. Some games will then take this opportunity to mock you for being so bad, and one such game is Costume Quest 2. If you repeatedly fail to do as you're told, several funny messages can be seen. I love stuff like this, so if you have any other examples, please let me know. Up next is one of the cleverest details I think I've ever found. In Death's Door, you can find signs that offer helpful tips or directions. With that in mind, you'd think that there is no reason to damage those signs. Well, if you do, this will happen. So chopping the sign in half means that the message is shown to the player exactly the same way. Like I said, it's very clever. Now, one of the most popular characters in Undertale, which is a game full of popular characters, is Papyrus. Papyrus really wants to capture a human, something which he does after defeating you in battle. Unfortunately for him, he forgot to lock the garage door, and you can escape. Now, if you flirted with Papyrus during your battle, when you next see him, he will suggest that you go on a date, and if you disconnect your controller during the date, this will happen. So the developer knew that we were going to be super excited about our date, that there was a chance that we would accidentally unplug our controller. And that's why they created this message. I mean, I'm not sure what percentage of players would disconnect their controller during this battle for this message to be seen, but I'm gonna bet it's very low. Now, I'm guessing that the majority of you know which way is left and which way is right. And if you don't, make this shape with your hand. If it looks like an L, that's left. Don't say I never teach you anything. Don't worry if you didn't, by the way, because it turns out that even super handsome, treasure hunting middle-aged men sometimes struggle too. When being led through the prison in Uncharted 4, you can do this.
Go left. Your other left?
Yes, sir.
So after the guard tells you to turn left, if you instead turn right, the guard will say, your other left. Which is really funny. So fishing in Red Dead Redemption 2 can be pretty relaxing. You cast your line, snag a fish, admire your catch, and put it back. The thing is, if you admire your catch for too long, eventually this will happen.
Damn, you're dead, ain't you? Been late to release him, but, sorry.
So granted, it does take a while for it to happen, but if you do wait long enough, the fish will die from being out of the water. It's things like this that make the wait for GTA 6 that much harder. So the Stanley Parable is a fourth wall breaking masterpiece, but there was something added in the deluxe re-release that I found brilliant. When booting the game up for the first time, it asks you to enter the current time. It's not revealed why, but you soon forget about it. When starting the game for a second time, it once again asks you to enter the time, despite already having access to the time on the console. Well, if you once again do as you're told and enter the correct time, this will happen. Again, I'm not entirely sure what the point of entering the time is, but at least the game was grateful for my honesty. So that's it. If you enjoyed the video, then a like is really appreciated. If you are a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. Thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.